Good evening. With his personal rating at an all-time low and his government's approval ratings not much better, Premier Gordon Campbell is shaking things up. He shuffled his cabinet today in a big way, giving no fewer than a dozen government ministers new jobs. Only a few stayed where they were, among them the key portfolios of finance and health. But despite the shake-up, for the most part, it is the same faces in different places. The Premier has added only one new member to the inner circle, and he also said goodbye today to one of his closest political allies. Among the ministers involved in the shuffle on Vancouver Island, Coell makes a move to environment. Chong is out at healthy living and sport and into a new ministry, science and universities. Rich Coleman finds himself as Solicitor General again, and Colin Hansen will keep on slogging away in finance, but he'll get a little extra help. A News legislature reporter Sachi Crow was the first to tell us on A News last night that the cabinet changes were coming, and tonight she has all the details.
Bye-bye, Martyn Brown, a man few British Columbians would know or recognize, also one of the most influential people in BC politics. For 13 years, he was the Premier's right-hand man. As of today, he's no longer Chief of Staff.
It's a personal loss for me, certainly.
That role will now be filled by Paul Taylor. Once Deputy Finance Minister, he was later forced to resign as CEO of ICBC.
And I think he'll be a really positive addition to the Premier's office.
Also, big changes around the cabinet table. As A News reported last night, Margaret McDermott is out of education, which George Abbott takes on. It's a portfolio poised for big changes, though the new minister isn't saying much.
I always try to have at least 1 hour of briefing under my belt before I declare definitively what needs to be changed. But I do think that is a system that is capable of improvement.
Rich Coleman resumes his former role as Solicitor General again, lightening the load for Attorney General Mike DeYoung, who took over when scandal forced Cash Heed out in the spring.
Hey, look, I enjoyed it last time. I don't know why I wouldn't enjoy it this time, so yeah.
More tinkering includes Barry Penner moving on to Aboriginal relations and Murray Coell taking over for Penner in environment.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great ministry. I love the environmental issues and the people involved in them.
Chong takes over a rejigged advanced education ministry now called Science and Universities. The only new face, Stephanie Cadieux, Minister of Community Development. But there is no relief for Colin Hansen, the finance minister who has taken the brunt of all the backlash over the HST. He is staying put. Was that something that you asked for? Were you offered the chance to do something else?
No, I am very proud of what we've been able to accomplish in the Ministry of Finance over the last 2 years as we've gone through.
He will get some help, though, from John Less as Parliamentary Secretary for HST Information. It's essentially his job to make British Columbians like the tax more.
Well, I guess my job will be to help ensure that the HST referendum is successful next September.
It's all part of an effort to clear the storm clouds that threaten Campbell's leadership and stop the deluge of bad press. The opposition leader says it won't work.
I think the Premier's going to try. I have no doubt that the Premier's going to try, but he's not going to be successful.
The Premier confident that sunnier skies are ahead.
We went through an election just a few months ago, and people said they wanted us to work hard to keep our economy strong, to encourage investment. That's exactly what we're doing.
Though autumn in Victoria has a way of leaving folks all wet.
Now let's go live to the legislature where Sachi Crow joins us with more on the shuffle. Of course, this comes just a couple of days, a day and a half before the Premier makes a rare address to the province. Sachi tells us more about that. Sachi.
Well, Hudson, the first thing we're likely to hear from the Premier is more mea culpas on the HST. Look for Gordon Campbell to explain once again how his government didn't do a good job of selling or explaining the HST to British Columbians, and watch for him to try to correct that course if that can be achieved. He'll certainly be trying to on Wednesday night. He's also expected to talk about the economy and about education. And, you know, the fight around public education is one that's been simmering really with a lid on the pot since 2005 when teachers went on strike and both sides really did battle very bitterly. The feud was quite bad at the time. Ever since then, both sides have sort of reined their claws back in, but it will be interesting to see what he announces or what he speaks to on Wednesday and what the Teachers Federation's reaction will be. The Teachers Union today sounding a conciliatory tone, welcoming George Abbott's appointment rather, as Education Minister, but we'll have to see how long that making nice lasts, especially given what the Premier says on Wednesday. Hudson.
All right, we'll watch for that. Chachi Coell live at the Legislature. Thank you.